Hi Peyton, this is Alan Cockrell with ABC, former hitting coach for the Colorado Rockies and the Seattle Mariners. Peyton, we're going to take a look at your video today. One of the first things that I always look at with guys is just making sure we're under balance. And the biggest thing about staying under balance is keeping those knees inside the feet and then keeping that head inside of those knees, okay? One of the things that I'm going to point out with you is you've got a little bit of a closed stance, meaning this foot is ahead of this foot, and that's perfectly fine. One concern that I have with younger players is when we start to turn our feet in too much in this direction, it sometimes causes us want to open up our front side, particularly that front hip, to open up just a little bit early as we start our swing. So that would be one thing that I might suggest that we maybe make an adjustment on, is just put our feet more in a squared up position, meaning our toes are more pointed straight at home plate. If you want to stay closed with your stance, that's perfectly fine. But when we start turning our back more to the pitcher, it makes it difficult to see, and sometimes it affects our swing as we start to move forward. Okay? All right, bud, we're going to move this forward into the load up phase. The load up phase is we're getting weight on our back side. Okay? I'm trying to store up weight right in there, right in the inside part of my back thigh, so that I can get in a loaded position to transfer that weight when I start my swing. Okay? We take this back one more click. Okay, now you can see now your foot is starting to get down. Your toe will land first, and then your heel will land. Okay? First things that I look at in this position are, we want to make sure that we have our hips are square to home plate, okay? You can see here we got just a little bit of leak open early with that front hip, starting to leak it open to the pull side a little bit, but not that bad, just a little bit. The other thing that I look for is to make sure that when our stride foot lands, that we are no more open than 45 degrees. You're at 45 degrees, that's absolutely perfect. That's a really, really good position to be in. One suggestion that I would make is with the hands, we want to try to keep a little bit more of a bend in our elbow. As you can see here, you have a straight arm, and sometimes we have a tendency to want to sweep the bat through instead of releasing or throwing the barrel of the bat through extension, through contact, through extension. So what I would suggest is, okay, that elbow is going to come down to about this position. Okay, now our arms, we're going to have just a little bit of almost of an L shape, and then that's going to put the barrel of the bat more back here in this position. Okay, all right, we get a straight front arm, a stiff front arm, and that just kind of lowers our hands just a little bit down here, just above your belt. So I'd rather see this more of an L shape right here. Okay, now that'll put the barrel of the bat more up here at more of a 45-degree angle. All right, that would be one adjustment that I would make from there. We start to now start our swing. Okay, our lower half is going to start our swing. All that weight that you gathered to the inside part of this leg is now going to be transferred or shifted to the inside part of that front leg. Okay, and I'm going to drive that knee into that front leg, the inner thigh of that front leg. As that knee starts to drive forward, this elbow will drop down into the slot off the rib cage and the back hip, and as we move forward, we're going to get to what's known as a connected position. I don't know if this video is going to let me do it. If I were able to go forward one more click with this video, what we're going to see is we're going to see shoulder, elbow, and back hip are all going to be in alignment. And now once that gets connected, now my hands are going to start to work forward past my center of gravity, which is my belt buckle, and start to work out here in front of my body. Okay? We'll run this forward. We'll run this forward. Hands start to work in front of your connection right there. That looks good. Now our hands start to get out here in front of our body, and then we release the barrel at contact. We do a good job. I'm not going to be able to show you right at contact, but I can point out to you that you're going to be palm up, palm down at contact. You are going to have your head and eyes looking right down the barrel of the bat at contact. And it is important for you to know, Peyton, that as soon as those head and eyes come up out of the hitting area, excuse me, to follow the flight of the ball, then basically our swing is over, because our barrel of our bat is going to follow where our head and eyes go. So if I want to get into a good habit of getting good extension through the baseball, I'm going to practice keeping my head and eyes down in the hitting area for at least one count past contact. Okay? That would be a very good habit to get into. So we're going to take this past contact. I still see head and eyes looking right down the barrel. That's absolutely beautiful. I'm starting to see extension through the baseball. Okay, that's good. And now we'll take it to a full finish. We get extension. The only thing that I would suggest is go ahead and let this backside release. You've gotten your weight shifted into this front leg, which is good. And we're starting to get a turn with this backside, but just go ahead and let it release. Let this heel come on around, all right, instead of letting it recoil back down onto the ground. Let's just let it come all the way around so that we can just finish that back and finish making a good full arc through the ball, all right? Really the only suggestion that I have or one area that I would like to maybe clean up just a little bit is where you are right here with this and that elbow, just a little bit of a bend right there. Your hands are right at your shoulder, just below your shoulder. Let's just try to keep our hands no lower than that, and let's try to keep no less bend in that front elbow than what you have right there, because we'll run this forward and we'll see that front elbow get stiff. When that front elbow gets stiff, it's going to make it difficult to get to pitches that are belt and above. Okay, this area right here, those are going to be tough pitches for you to get to, and it's all because this front elbow gets a little bit locked out. Okay, so let's go back to right there. Let's keep that bend. You know, if you want to get more bend than that, that's fine. The hands are going to try. We're going to try to keep them right off the shoulder, no lower than that. And then that's going to put you in a good position. So let's do this. Let's take a tee. Let's set it on the outer half of the plate, even with your front foot, and let's set it high. Let's put it up here 3 or 4 inches above your belt. Okay? Let's put a ball right there, and let's try to hit line drives on this pitch through the pitcher, through the second baseman, into right center, and that's going to force us to keep our hands a little bit higher. It's also going to force us to keep a little bit of looseness and a little bit of bend in that front elbow. Okay, but this is a drill I think will help you. Will help you cover the entire strike zone. Do a lot of things really well, and I wish you all the luck in the world. Thanks for coming to our camp, Hayden.